Forever, we've absolutely loved coming to West Australian racing at the Wanneroo Barbagallo Raceway circuit. Why? Because it's so different to any place we've gone to or go to. The surface, the layout, the topography. So let's have a little bit of a look at defining Wanneroo. Now, this circuit was actually built back in 1969, and we've been coming here as a touring car championship since about 1973. You can see some of the iconic cars and programs. In fact, Peter Brock won his last touring car round here. Now, touring car championship race here. Who have been the big winners over the years here? Well, in the modern era of supercars, these three blokes. 16 wins to Craig Lowndes, 8 to Mark Scaife, 7 to Mark Winterbottom. Now, if I talk about our commentary team and add Greg Murphy's 3 wins to that, well, that's 27. So it's fact that if you include Crompo and Larkham, that's 27 wins between the commentary team at Wanneroo, right? Nice stat. Now, one thing that's really cool about this circuit, though, is strategically you can do things differently here to anywhere else. If we go back 2 years ago, remember Craig Lowndes? This was a Saturday race. It's a one-stop race. Everyone does one stop. Craig, at the back of the field, says, I'm going to do 2 stops, 2 sets of tyres, wins the race. You just can't do that stuff at other tracks. Then last year, we saw Scotty McLaughlin, a bit like what he's doing today, conserving tyres, came from 19th on the grid, great strategy, used a safety car, used his tyres and fuel really well, and blazed through and won the race. Now, why is it so that you can do these things? Now, when we look at our track wrap, I want you to look at this little legend I've put up here. There's 4 defining things that you need to really work for you around here. Now, of course, you need all these things everywhere, but I've highlighted where they are at their extremes. Aero, downforce, mechanical grip, springs and shocks and those things, driving technique, where the driver places the car, how he drives it, and of course, a little bit of bravery. So if we dive in first of all and look at turn 1. Now, when the cars come down here into turn 1, so this is coming around onto the main straight, along to 1. You need downforce. You saw my little red stripe there because braking requires downforce and you're carrying a lot of speed into the corner. But if I can pause it just about there, right? This is Nick Percat's car we're looking at. Now, I'll just grab my little pen here. What we want to do is you can see there, Nick's car is kind of pointing that way. This is where you need mechanical grip. You need to rotate the car. Nick needs his car pointing just a little bit further down the road. Sounds obvious, but very hard to do. And that requires mechanical grip. Watch here, he rotates the car right there. See that rotation? Which allows him then to get a really good run, power on, up the hill there, right? So let's go back to our track map and go a little further round. Now, when we look here at turns 3 and 4, you can see the red there, that's all aero. Now, the orange one, little bit of driving technique. We see all sorts of different driving lines here, and the green one, mechanical grip. Why? A change of direction. You're steering this way, then you need to steer that way. That transfer of weight, that's shock absorbers and springs, anti-roll bars. Let's have a little bit of a look at vision here. This is Chaz Mostert, Jamie Whincup last night. You can see Chaz there, look, completely different driving line. Now, Mark Scaife often says constructing the pass. So way back 3 corners before he's going to do it, he's thinking about the pass down at the bowl. So this is really nicely done. Subtly different driving line, beautiful change of direction. Look, subtly different driving line, not much, but it is enough to get maybe 1 or 2 kilometres an hour faster. That's all you've got to do. And bang, he gets the pass done. Really nicely done. Then we get down into the bowl. Now, when we talk about the bowl, this is the thing that for me defines Wanneroo. Cars come up out of here. Right, we got 1,400 kilos a car, we got 650 horsepower, and you're turning. So for like probably 250 metres, your poor little left rear tyre is just getting hammered. Now, that doesn't happen anywhere else. And I can tell you, if you were an engineer, you would do anything to put a Formula 1 wing on the back of your V8 supercar right there and get some downforce. Now, let me just diverge for a sec. If I was to tell you a little bit about that Formula 1 car and you want to win a good pub argument, you've probably seen me do this story before, but there's our modern Formula 1 car. Now, over the last 10 years, a car like that, at flat out speed, 320, 330 k's an hour, can make more than a couple of tonnes of downforce. So, given the car weighs, I don't know, 700 odd kilos, if you could turn that upside down and drive it along a ceiling, absolutely that will drive along the ceiling. Not only that, let me go further. If I were to drag a couple of big cables off there and probably put a great big plank here, right? I'll tell you what else I could do. I could grab a V8 supercar and I could put that there and that car's still on the ceiling, right? That's pretty good. Let me keep going. I could actually grab 3 sumo wrestlers, say at about 120 kilos each. Lownsy, Crompo, Scavy. I've got to do this. Look. That's funny. So those 3 guys at 120, 130 kilos, the weight of that car would all hang off that Formula One car. That just seems insane, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm going to get out of that. That's a little bit of fun. Now, what I want to get to is down here. When we come down into turn 7, I want you to look at this vision. Looks really easy, right? So last night we saw Shane Van Gisbergen trying to get past Jamie Whincup, and people say, well, why can't he just do that? Why can't you pull out and brake a little bit later? Look at him trying again. I'll jump over this side, and it's very, very hard to do. So Anton De Pasquale on Rick Kelly. Let's just pause it there. A couple of things you need to know. If we look at the topography of the circuit there, see that big curvature in the track there? That means as you come down in there, you push the brake harder at Wanneroo than anywhere in the country to be able to get that done. Now, if you want to get from where Anton is to where Rick is, from there to put your car sufficiently alongside him, we've done a little calc. At 260 k's an hour, you need to put your foot on the brake about 6/100ths of a second later. So that's why on my track map, I've got bravery. So let's just go back to the track map for a sec. In fact, if I just play that to the finish, you can see you get done. Because another little strategy you do, if you know you can't quite stop the car, you bank on leaning on the other car. Anton did this beautifully. Look at this, to stop his trajectory, stop his momentum, leans on Rick. Beautiful racecraft. That's really, really, really well done. Finally, back to my track map. So, to finish off, here we go. You see some aero here. You can see some bravery required. Now, from the moment we put our foot on the brake there, to the moment we release it to turn into the corner, well, not to release it, to turn into the corner, that is 1.9 seconds where you've got to make the decision to affect that move. Now, as we come into here, the car itself is making about 550 kilograms of downforce, right? By the time it gets to here, it's like 150 kilos of downforce. So as a driver, you've got to whack the foot on the pedal really, really hard whilst the downforce is there. And as the downforce washes off, you've got to then release the pedal ever so gently. In the 1.9 seconds, thinking about the 6/100ths of a second, it's really, really tough. Now, how hard do they push it? Well, about 105 kilos on the brake pedal. What does that mean? What does that look like? Well, I searched around the room here. I want to introduce Gov. He's my audio guy. Gov's 108 kilos. Now, I want to show you, if you're a driver, and I'm driving around the circuit, every time, every lap, I've got to get this guy, right? And I've got to do this, right? I've got to bench press him. I've got to do that lap after lap after lap. Oh, hang on. Hey, Gov. Give me my shoe back. It's stuck in there, mate. Thank you.